Deadlock is currently in the middle of a cheating epidemic, and I really do not use those words lightly. Over the past 20 or 30 or so games that I've played this past week, I've had at least 10 of those have very obvious cheaters in both ranked and quick play, and obviously this has wasted many hours and just taken the fun out of Deadlock altogether. Now I just want to clarify a few things. There have been cheaters in Deadlock since the start of this game, since the game was still in very early closed alpha. When there were just a few thousand people playing, we already had cheaters back then, right? And I've certainly had the pleasure of running into a couple of them back then too. But never has it been so bad as right now. Cheaters have just flooded the Deadlock servers. And it feels like you run into one every other or every third game or every fourth game. On a good day, you might see 1, 2, or 3. On a bad day, you might just have them every game back to back to back. And that is just the obvious cheaters we're talking about. We're talking about aimbots, wall hacks, flying across the map when shooting you across the map, knowing exactly where you're going to be, shooting you through the veil, spin botting. That's the stuff we see. Then we're not even talking about the people that try to keep it hidden and do a decent job of keeping it hidden to begin with. No one's going to catch a simple map hack. But who knows how many players are playing with one right now. Now, as I said, cheating is nothing new, and before making this video, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just some edge case that had a really unlucky run either. I really don't want to start any unnecessary drama or put Deadlock in a bad light for some views, because I really want this game to succeed. But because I want this game to succeed, I also feel like I have to make this video. You know, I'm fully aware that Deadlock is in super early closed alpha, that we aren't meant to take all of this serious, that, you know, large changes are still being made to this game's economy every 2 weeks or every month at least. Essentially, we are the playtesters, right? And I very much understand that a robust anti-cheat system is not a priority for the developers right now. Or at least it wasn't on their timeline a couple of months ago. But the other side of that is that Deadlock has blown up. Quite substantially. It has an active player base, and dare I say quite a competitive player base right now. And whether Deadlock blowing up was intentional or not, whether it was just clever marketing or whether it is just something that happened naturally because the game is actually really fun to play, the reality is that people are treating this as a live service type of game right now, that they're taking this game serious right now. And if Deadlock wishes to be successful in the long term, the developers should be treating it as such, even if it wasn't really the plan from the start. Now, I do believe that Valve is aware of this, and that is the whole reason that we got a ranked mode this early to begin with. A ranked mode that has quite a lot of issues right now, because I just simply don't think it was ready yet. We don't have enough characters, we don't have even a proper draft system, but it is a ranked mode regardless. And something is most of the time better than nothing. It's a good middle ground for players wanting to take this game a bit more seriously, but don't want to go as far to search for a 6-man team to play scrims. I think that is what ranked mode is for right now, to appease the players that are treating this as a live service game. But on that same note, I think having a proper anti-cheat system is just as important, if not more important. And with how many cheaters I've seen in the past few days that are just allowed to keep playing and go rampant and turn games into shit, yeah, I don't feel guilty about making this video right now, because I think that developers need to do something about this now. Deadlock is easily the best fresh competitive game I've played in years. But if cheaters are just allowed to keep going like this for months and months on end, people will stop taking the game seriously, players will quit, and all of this could fall apart before it gets a proper chance to get off the ground. I've seen this time and time again where whole entire games, good games mind you, are just destroyed because of cheaters. And it would be really sad to see this happen to Deadlock too. So what's the solution here? You ask me, can't we just report players and turn them into frogs? Didn't we already have some anti-cheat going on here? Well, I wish that were true, but aside from a few clips that I've seen where players turn other players into frogs, in my experience, I've reported tens of cheaters only to find them still playing the game a couple weeks later, and I've seen the clips of turning cheaters into frogs, but I've never experienced it in a game myself, and I've started to wonder whether or not all of that was just a PR stunt at the time as well. Maybe just another clever marketing tactic. And yeah, with players just flying across the map, delivering urns on repeat and chasing you down with more speed than the old heavy melee cancel would give you, it seems like the auto detection also isn't quite where it needs to be yet. And another part of the problem is that while Deadlock is a closed alpha, it is also free to play, so it isn't too difficult to just make an account, make sure you get invited to play the game for free, and then just start cheating without having any repercussions to it. I'm not entirely sure whether or not this game gives out hardware ID bans. I've looked up on some forums to see whether this was the case or not, but I haven't found a definitive answer just yet. But hardware ID bans are also able to be manipulated in some way, shape, or form by people that know how to do that, and I don't think they fully prevent someone having multiple accounts either. Another side of the story is that there's also a lot of legal cheats allowed in Deadlock right now. Think, for example, about the ability to replace the character models in the game with custom skins. Mods, basically. I don't think they're fully utilized to cheat right now because it's so easy to have normal cheats. But if the developers were to turn up the anti-cheat, the custom character models could easily be turned into cheats too. I can already imagine a world where players would just put an arrow high above character models in the game so that they can just look up in the sky to see where all the enemies are. It is maybe a bit far-fetched, but seeing how far people are already willing to go to cheat in a closed alpha test, play 50 games on a fresh account and then go into ranked with cheats and then start cheating, it wouldn't really be a surprise to me if this eventually starts turning into a real thing too. Now, what I hope to achieve with this video is to just shine some light on this very real and growing problem, and to say that we need to do something about this right now before it gets way out of hand.
Yeah, honestly, this game might die just because of the anti-cheat.
Once a game gets known for only having cheaters in every game, or, just being a game with generally a lot of cheaters, it is very difficult to get rid of that stigma again, even if eventually the problem is resolved. Truth be told, I don't know much about cheating or anti-cheat. I know it will always remain an arms race between the developers and the people that create cheats to see who can outdo each other. Once the developers catch up and have an anti-cheat that's working, then the cheat makers will just find out new ways to get through. The reality of it is that there's a lot of money made in making cheats. A lot of players want to cheat in video games, and so this is an industry that will forever keep going. If I had any more constructive feedback to give, I would have given it here, but unfortunately my knowledge of this anti-cheat measure is very limited. I just know that we need to do something about this now. Forget about content creation, forget about YouTube for a second. Just from the point of view as a daily player, which is what I mostly am. I'm struggling to make videos just because I want to play this game so much. Cheaters has been the single biggest contributor to me playing less and less every day over the past few weeks. I can deal with the occasional one here and there, but if it's just back to back to back in games, it really just drains the fun out of it and makes me just not want to play at all. Yes, it's a closed alpha, yes, we shouldn't take it too seriously, but this is also meant to be a competitive experience when it is finished. We are test playing it to build it into a competitive experience, and if the competitive integrity of it is already being questioned daily just because of cheaters alone, then I just don't see this game getting very far, despite of how good I think it really is. So yeah, that was the video. Thank you all for watching. And we'll be back soon with, I don't know. We'll see. As I said, I've been playing less and less simply because of this cheating problem. So we'll see where this goes. You'll see me soon. Bye.